Appreciate it.
How you doing? Yeah, Mila told me I need to ask for the black card. She showed me. Thank you. It was pretty cool. Hell yeah. I was like, you can't just go up to people and ask for a black card. She's like, well, I mean, it's Carter. Call Mama Doc. He'd probably say yes. I was like, good point. Damn, dog. Wow. Okay. Fair. I respect that. Oh, okay. Noted. For all the times I've quacked at you. No, I said after all that it wasn't a question. It was a statement. It was a statement. Yeah. I know. I kind of like took a nice little mental break for like a month. Like I got on duty every once in a while. And, like my schedule is so all over the place right now. I hate it. Absolutely hate it. I miss you too. Hopefully cops soon, Tim. Maybe. Soon, Tim. I'm supposed to be a part of the next group, but then again, I was supposed to be a part of the November interviews. But people keep calling me old. Still working on not having Philly. Good.
Oh.
All right, Mr. Griswoldstein is here.
Here we go.
We have a representative from the PD,
Hello.
Mr. Watson, the defendant. We will now proceed with the verdict. Call this court back in session. Okay, so roughly where I was at, there is not a ton of physical evidence in terms of tying Mr. Watson specifically to the Bobcat scene. We are relying on testimony from multiple officers who testified both through a written statement and testimony in court that they observed an individual who they believed to be Mr. Watson now that they arrested him on the scene at the Marina alleyway. They believe to be the same individual getting into the black Asbo, and they believe he was one of the people who got out, and per Carter's testimony, was one that was slow to get up after getting out and was tased and handcuffed. The others fleeing both in a helicopter, and police tried to give pursuit per Mueller's testimony statement in the report, but could not. So the question is, there has been what is basically an affirmative sort of statement offered by Mr. Watson on his own behalf, as well as Mr. Langbuda, claiming that Mr. Watson was meeting a business associate at the Marina area where he has said he frequents for these meetings. He claimed, as I stated, that he was in the alleyway smoking a cigarette due to his public image being at risk. There is some minor discrepancies in my mind about, Mr. Buddha testifying something about I called Mr. Watson not mentioning that. But to be honest with you, that's the kind of thing that is inconsequential because it's generally testimony is muddled and it is not precise. When it is extremely precise and extremely detailed, it actually is a little more questionable in some cases because human recall is not that good. And most people either misremember things or are not perfect, which, going back to the officer's testimony, is why I am not convinced that the question of whether or not they could properly identify which mask they allege the individual is wearing controls the outcome of this case. I'm left with a basis of testimonial fact from the officers that they assert to be true that the person they observed holding up the hostage in the Bobcat was the same person who got into the ASBO, and they claim they never lost eyes on the ASBO between themselves, and they saw the same individual get out of the ASBO. Carter testifies he tased and arrested that person. The only person that Carter has brought forth that he tased and arrested is yourself, Dean Watson. So then we come down to what is a reasonable doubt. Do I believe that it is possible, whatever, small amount that may be, that your story, along with, despite the discrepancies in Mr. Buddha's story, even if I take him at his best interpretation, meaning I take everything he said to be very clear and I don't put any kind of interpretation into it, meaning he had some objections. I was issuing the ruling about claiming that he didn't say cops and instead he said the motherfuckers, and I may have his claim is that I assumed what he meant when in fact he's claiming he meant something else. Even if I take him at his word and his insistence, the discrepancies in that testimony are not the controlling factor here. The controlling factor is there a distinct, reasonable doubt in my mind that Dean Watson was present at the Bobcat heist? Do I believe and follow the sort of series of logical jumps I would have to make, such as the officers not seeing the DeLorean on scene, such as the officers misinterpreting or misremembering what they saw when it comes to people getting out of the car? Do I overlook some of the inconsistencies in testimony between things Lang Buddha advanced and things Dean Watson said? If it was just one of these things, if the officers had inconsistencies in their statement, if there were more questions about them losing sight of the vehicle at any point, I might have what could amount to a reasonable doubt. In this case, I think what I have is a suggestion that somehow I should take these multiple leaps to come to what would amount to an unreasonable doubt, a infinitesimally small chance that this extremely unlikely series of events and testimonies could occur. I'm not taking that leap. I think beyond all reasonable doubt, I believe, Mr. Watson, you were present at the Bobcat. I don't necessarily believe that you even needed to shoot a gun, as your attorney pointed out. I don't believe that you even could have done thermite. Just you being present and holding a gun at a hostage and acting in concert with the other individuals is enough to find you guilty of the accomplice to first-degree robbery.
Excuse me, Your Honor, you're saying that just because this officer said they saw me, that I am therefore guilty. That's what you're saying? They have zero evidence, and you think that I've never been implicated in any kind of robbery before. I have nothing on my record, and you're saying that because
I wouldn't.
It's like a 0% chance?
No, what I'm saying is that there is not a reasonable doubt in my mind that you were involved.
Huh?
I would have to assume, sir, as I stated in what I was getting to, that I would have to assume that not only did these officers completely, let's say, either misinterpret or just observe something incorrectly, or the alternate is that they're just lying. So the options here are the officers just completely lying and full of shit? There was nothing advanced in testimony, in cross or anything, suggesting that they ever lost eyes on the vehicle. There was no questioning of that fact. In fact, your attorney left that point out there.
Yeah, but excuse me, Judge. Let's be clear about that testimony. They said someone with a pig mask or a pink in color mask got into the vehicle. That is what they said.
What they said is, and I have it verbatim in my notes, is I reviewed it. They stated that there were several individuals with masks inside. They stated there were 6 people, 1 hostage. They stated that in terms of the people with masks inside, They could not be certain. In fact, Spartan said, I can't be certain what kind of mask he was wearing.
Okay.
I think it might have had some pink in it.
Well, he shouldn't have offered the pink part
hold
then.
on. Then he was later asked, what other masks did you see? What mask did you see in general inside the Bobcat on the suspect? And he listed 2 or 3, including a pig mask and another one, he said it could have been some kind of animal. He wasn't sure. But as I said, the whole mask thing doesn't control. His testimony is that he wasn't sure what mask it was. His testimony is that he observed someone with the exact same clothing you're wearing, and he couldn't remember the mask for certain, get into the ASBO.
Okay.
He then stated that Carter and Mueller both stated that they saw you get out of the car. So in terms of the chain of events from the Bobcat to the point where they allege they saw you get out of the car, I am literally left with a binary question of, are they telling the truth about seeing you get out of the car, or are you telling the truth about standing in the alley smoking a cigarette and getting hit by the car? And what I'm telling you is, for me to believe your story about standing in the alley, getting hit by the car, smoking a cigarette, I have to make a series of logical jumps, not to mention disregard inconsistency between what
Which
you
inconsistencies?
said, what Mr. Buddha said, as long as with what the officers brought forward. Those inconsistencies revolve around things like, for example, Mr. Buddha claiming he made a phone call with you to find out where you were to come meet you. You never mentioned that whatsoever.
How is that inconsistent? That's just him offering a statement.
Okay, and if you had, let's say, a conversation with Mr. Buddha and you knew he was going to be testifying, for you not to bring that up in your narrative is extremely strange.
How? How is that strange? This is his testimony, not mine.
Correct.
Well, so
And
I'm
I
supposed
asked
to
you the
speak for
sequence of
him, and
events.
then, like, what's the point of him coming to the stand then?
No, it's to find a conclusory agreement between the witnesses.
Okay, and
If
there
your
was
story is
no
to
inconsistencies,
override the
though.
Sworn, if your story is to override the sworn testimony of the police, then there has to be something that points to them being wrong or lying.
Okay, why don't they offer a photo, a piece of DNA, anything other than their word? You're saying that I should be charged with this because these officers wouldn't lie about it. That's what you're saying, right?
I'm saying that in terms of a reasonable doubt, do I believe it is a reasonable doubt to think that I had multiple officers get up on the stand, testify to the exact same thing about seeing a person wearing the clothing you're wearing, get into a black ASBO from Bobcat, never lose eyes on the vehicle, and then see you get out of the vehicle and take a long time to get up and get tased and arrested?
Do you think we are taking?
But this is the thing. That's not what happened. So how can this is my point? You're taking the word of people who can't even remember what mask I was wearing, but all of a sudden it matters that they
Wait,
did
hold
not
on.
see
What
the.
mask you were wearing?
Excuse
You
me.
said- so now
Excuse
you
me.
were wearing a mask.
This is
Did you just say what mask I was wearing?
this is not in any way,
Sir,
shape, or form. Can
sir,
you
I'm
just
gonna-
can
I'm
I
gonna
finish
advise
my
you
sentence,
to-
please?
Sir, I'm going to advise you to listen to your counsel on this one.
I'm asking a question. Why are you being difficult?
Your Honor, in fairness, he's referring to how they illustrated the narrative.
Yeah, I mean,
itself.
really, does that need to be explained? Like, what's going on here? You're saying the mask is irrelevant because maybe they didn't remember it, but you're saying but they don't remember the DeLorean being on scene. So why does that matter now?
No. They admitted, sir. What I said is they admitted to not remembering exactly what mask they saw the person wearing.
Right.
There was no mention of even any DeLorean, any person.
You said it. You literally said. You said the words that these guys, the police, did not see the DeLorean on
Correct.
scene,
I'm
and you
saying
took
in
that
their
in
testimony-
in
I'm
fucking.
saying in their testimony.
like-
Are you? I'm saying
I'm
in
so
their
confused.
testimony, sir. They did not even mention Buddha, the DeLorean, nothing. So I'm left with two completely conflicting scenarios. One is Buddha was actually on scene. He actually was coming to meet you. You were actually smoking a cigarette. The car actually hit you. Then there's the disagreement about whether the car kept on driving or it rolled a couple feet, and what Buddha said, which he said after he said it stopped and everyone got out. He didn't explain which person got back in the car and started driving it, which is confusing.
What is
Your
going
Honor,
on here?
If I may, for a second,
What
I think
the hell?
the point of contention here is that they're able to track this alleged suspect up to the point of knowing who exactly hopped out of what door, but then not to recall any mask whatsoever.
All right,
Or
okay. So
This is
I'm explaining
honestly
a verdict.
ridiculous.
I'm not having a debate. It is not ridiculous, sir.
It
I'm
is.
sorry
It
you were
literally is.
upset and no, sir.
Your explanation is as worthless as these guys identifying the mask.
Well, sir, I thank you for your input. You were found guilty on all counts. Thank you very much.
Jesus.
I gotta find you, Mr. Watson.
Yeah,
I think
whatever.
It's gonna be time served.
Did you realize that this guy just said that even if there was a small chance that your story is true, you're still going to prison? Like, what kind of fucked up system is that?
Reasonable doubt means, sir. Welcome to America.
That is literally the dumbest thing I've ever seen. They cannot. They provided nothing to prove that I was there, and they still getting a charge. It's absolutely ridiculous, crazy. This system is fucking. Oh my god.
This is the dumb shit.
You've been billed. That's time served. You better have a good ass day.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
What happened with Jaeger?
All right.
It's kind of fucked up that they can just take officer testimony and get a charge, though. I'm not gonna lie. Doesn't really make much sense.
Take care, Mr. Watson.
I appreciate you trying and working with me.
Anytime.
Alright, I need to go get my stuff. Yeah, it's over.
Yeah.
Oh, what
I
happened?
didn't like it.
Cops are lying again and I get charges for it. Seems to be like the recurring theme. We're gonna gaslight that to shit. Alright. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that, like, someone that comes with no evidence can get a charge got. That doesn't. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm guilty. I knew it was coming. Like, we was gonna get the charge no matter what, but they literally provided no evidence and somehow got the verdict. Like, zero evidence. Kind of crazy, to be honest. At the same time, though, if they don't take officer testimony like that, then Crims will be protesting every single charge, so... I think I prefer it this way. Even though we kind of, you know... Seems like we got a bad verdict. I'd rather it the way it is.
You want a ride?
Okay, sure. I need to go to
Where do you need to go?
PD, get my stuff. I think this way's better in the long run, like for server health, like, because otherwise they'll just fucking protest every single thing. But also I feel like we kind of had a good defense and we really got fucked. Mm-hmm.
You know what? Grizz tried, you know?
Well, I mean, the judge literally took the word of a police officer to say that I did a bobcat robbery. That's what happened. There was zero evidence to put me on scene, and the judge said I'm guilty. Like, this system is so fucked up. What's the point of even, like, arguing anything if the police can just say he did it and then you get charged with it and that's the end of it?
Well, you were just in the alleyway having a meeting, right?
I was just between meetings, yeah.
With Lang?
Well, I had a meeting prior to that, but Lang was coming to meet with me, yeah. I need to go grab my shit. Oh, wait. Where do I grab it from here?
We'll have to go downstairs.
Oh, okay. It really, like, when it comes to he said, she said, I don't think, I do think the police should win.
I have no idea what that...
But at the same time, it's kind of fucked up. But I get it, right? If it didn't, you know, you'd have 7 bench trials an hour.
Don't get out, don't get out, don't get out.